All right, guys, we're going to be live in just a minute. Hold tight, just 1 minute, and I'll be with you. All right, guys. God bless everybody out there. I hope you're holding onto your seat and everything else, because the ride is about to get really crazy. Make sure all your hands and arms and all appendages are inside the ride, because it's about to become a wild, I was going to say a wild roller coaster, but I think of it more as a train wreck. A train wreck or a plane crash. Did you see the big plane crash in India today or this morning? Oh my gosh. Huge jet. They call it a Dreamliner. 787 Boeing 787 went down. It looked terrible. I don't think anybody survived that. It was a big, massive fireball. But they actually have footage of it going down. But I kind of feel in a similar parallel sense, we're watching the world literally, it's just like I feel like we're on the precipice of something huge. And this war with Iran is just about to go hot. So we've got all the breaking intel on that just in the last hour, not to mention the preparations for the major nationwide protest/riot movement. I'll say riots because it looks like it's going in the direction of major unrest. You've got political Democrats and leaders, governors of different states now that are daring Trump to arrest them. Now Governor Hutchell and I think it was, who was the other one? Governor Pritzker, I think the Illinois governor also dared Trump to arrest him, as well as Gavin Newsom. So you've got all these Democrat states now breaking off, trying to turn the narrative and saying that it's Trump that's causing civil and social unrest and the riots that are spreading across the nation. And this all seeming to coincide with the big shindig that is Trump's birthday party, military parade / birthday party. I know that Trump's got a big platform that he's going to be up on, waving to all the military people, to kind of like China Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, and he's just got to take his place, in history. He's going to be like Kim Jong-un. One of the biggest live streams we've ever had was chronicling our live coverage of Kim Jong-un's military parade. We were the only channel that had the link, and I found it on a forum. This is why I love forums. I found the link on a forum. It went directly to a North Korean website that was chronicling the live streamed military parade of Kim Jong-un. And I was streaming it and literally had 50,000 people watching. It was a 50,000 people live on our stream, and had all the mainstream media trying to get the feed, because nobody could get the feed. Nobody knew where to find it, but I happened to have it, and so everybody had to come check out. But it was a military parade, So you're gonna probably see Trump obviously making great, you know, he's going to try to project himself as the global leader. But what is that statement about the art of war? Act strong when you're weak and act weak when you're strong. This is America's weakness, if you ask me. America is actually weak, and this is another sign of our failing system. And I think that our economy is also on the brink. So we're going to go into all the details right now of what's happening on our Telegram page. And yes, I'm secure in a deep underground military style bunker with all of my monitors live monitoring the situation in the world. And my blast doors are shut and locked very tight. And I am secured with at least a year's supply of freeze-dried storable foods. And my chickens have a small little coop in the back. So anytime I need a chicken, just go back there and harvest it. Anyways, we're going to be, as I said, we're going to be giving away a bug out bag to our, and it's a $500 value to any of our members. We're going to spin that wheel here in the next little hour or so. I'm going to be doing it on a dedicated stream to the subscribers. So if you're a subscriber and you're supporting the channel, you get something back here. So we've got a few. It's a good chance. If you're a subscriber right now, you've got a good chance of winning. A very small percentage, or it's a very large percentage for those that are a part. We're expecting our subscriber base to really increase. So get in now while you're on the ground level, as they say. But we're going to be giving away a great bug out bag, and it's got everything in it: food. It's got two-stage little fire starter. It's got fire starters. It's got fire kits, and it's got little stoves, and it's got everything in there. So you're going to really like that. For anybody that's ready for bugging out. Did you see what's going on with the big hacks? Our critical infrastructure very well could go down. People that are in cities are going to be under martial law if this thing goes out of control. If, in fact, we do go to war, some of you in cities may need a bug out bag. Okay, you might need a bug. The reason why we got bug out bags is because we see scenarios like this very possible and very likely in the future of what is and what will be America after all is said and done. The Deagle report is coming to a conclusion. Okay, so this is supposed to happen this year, the Deagle report. And if you don't know anything about that, just understand a large part of America is projected and had been predicted to be disappeared. Okay, well, depopulated. Okay, so the Bilderberg Group, I don't know if you know the Bilderberg Group, but they're having a big meeting right now. And one of the topics of discussion for the Bilderberg Group is depopulation. Depopulation. And why are they talking about depopulation? Well, it's a big topic because they do need to lower the population on planet Earth. They got AI now. They got robots. They've got automation. They don't need humans. They can pick all the fields with robotics. And AI guides everything as well. They don't need humans the way they used to. So there needs to be some special UBI camp. They're going to put you in a UBI camp. Oh, isn't that special? They're going to put you in a UBI camp. I'm going to call it a UBI camp. UBI stands for Universal Basic Income, where they just give you money. They give you, they radiate you with 6G and just hook you up to, like, you're just going to be in your little cubicle, 15-minute city. You can't really go too far. Trump likes to call them his new freedom cities. So they're freedom cities. They're going to be based on technology. What kind of technology, Trump? Oh, technology that basically probes you in every way and every part of your being so that it knows exactly what you're feeling, thinking, where you're going, what you're all about. And if you even have a pre-criminal thought, you will be arrested because these pre-crime technologies are able to even detect your thoughts. And they're going to be inside of your membrane, in the brain. insane in the membrane. You're going to have that nanotechnology being inserted because Elon Musk has actually facilitated the life and the sentient awakening of the image that I believe is biblically predicted would come. This image that would cause everyone to submit, everyone to comply, everyone, unless at the threat of losing your job, not being able to buy or sell, and possibly even death. Okay, so if you don't take this technology and get plugged into your freedom city, okay, these are digital ghettos they're herding people into. But they have to kind of level things out, where they have these proposed freedom cities going to be, these smart cities, as they call them. Oh, it just seems to be like a fire just goes through and destroys everything. That's what happened down in L.A. and Paradise, Paradise, California. Same thing happened there. Same thing happened over in Hawaii. Just so happened the whole city just burned down right where they propose to have these freedom cities. And so they're going to be rebuilding. It's kind of like Gaza. That's a proposed freedom city, not to mention a proposed canal is going to go through there, Ben Gurion Canal, and all those resources that are going to be divvied up by Trump because he runs the world. He rules the world. He's going to set his kingdom right there between the Mediterranean and the beautiful city, as it says. He's going to set his tents up right there, and they're going to be golden Riviera by the Mediterranean. So we got a Riviera by the Mediterranean being proposed because obviously nobody can live there now because it's uninhabitable. And everybody has to be herded out so they can rebuild it, so they can give it back to the Palestinians. Right. Yeah, they're going to give it back to them, all right. They're going to give it back just like the Indian. That's why where they get the whole thing of Indian givers, or, the Americans taking we're going to make a deal with you, Indians. Here, just sign right here. We're good. Our word is our bond. Sure, we'll give it back to you. And then we'll herd you into little reservations, and you can be a sovereign nation. We'll give you the keys to do anything you want in terms of like your own people. We'll give you. We feel guilty. We do. We feel guilty. We've got this white privilege guilt thing going on, right? So we give them the ability to just take all of our money through casinos. And who best to do that but Donald Trump? Go ahead, Donald Trump. Just monetize everything. Prey on our vices. Prey on our hopes and our dreams, and channel our feelings and emotions, and just tell us what we want to hear because we're scared. We've got Stockholm Syndrome. We're the world is a scary place. So save us, Donald Trump. You're like the Messiah to the Israelites. You're going to rebuild the third temple. So we trust you. We trust you. Trust the plan. Trust Q. Trust Trump. Just trust them all. Trust the Bilderbergs. Trust the angels of light that are coming masquerading. Lying signs and wonders. Well, we love lying signs and wonders. Well, we just follow those too. But I love the fact that he comes back from a mortal political, judicial head wound to miraculously rise from the dead at the very last minute, just like I told you would happen, and the whole world would wonder after him. He would begin to rule the world. And there's isn't that he, in his own words, he said he's going to rule the world. He's going to run the world, run the world. Okay, so here we go. He's controlling everything now. He just made a boast today about stopping the Kashmir Pakistan war. Did you see that? I stopped it with my deals. I got it. Now I can do the same thing in the Middle East. There's going to be peace in the Middle East. 24 hours is me getting in administration. I'm going to stop the wars. Everything's going to come to a halt. Everybody, peace and prosperity for all. But when they say to you, the Bible says, peace and security, behold, sudden destruction will come upon them like a woman in travail, and they will not escape. And are we not at the brink of seeing this offer of peace and security through the Abraham Accords and the exporting of that to all nations? The whole thing, I'm telling you, there are so many parallels, guys, if you know your biblical prophecy, to what has happened in the last the last 5 years, but especially in the last year or so, there's been so many things that have unfolded in parallel to a lot of our predictions 4 years ago have come to pass because we're predicting according to what prophecy said. We know it lines up. We already see the pattern, but a lot of people don't see it because they don't know their Bibles. They don't listen to the author of the Bible, and they don't understand how it relates to the geopolitical events that are unfolding right now in our world. So stay tuned to the Blazing Press channel to give that all and lay that all out clearly. Now, Iran is a very big figure, a very big influence in the last days. According to the book of Daniel, the prince of Persia withstood the angel when he tried to deliver the interpretation to the prophecy of the last days. Why is Persia involved in that, trying to block that message to Daniel? Because the prince of Persia represents the Iranian kingdom, and in the latter day, as the book says, seal up the book until the time of the end, that book is to be unsealed, and when it's unsealed, Prince of Persia is right there. This is exactly the time that the book of Daniel predicted would happen, and it says it's for the time of the end. The angel told Daniel, seal this book up until the time of the end. Then it's unsealed. When it's unsealed, we'll understand more about what that book and what's contained therein, what it means. So we're going to be doing some series on prophecy here soon with the book of Revelation and Daniel, and I'm going to start opening all that up to you guys. And if you're not a part of our ministries channel, the BP Ministry channel, make sure you navigate over to the BP Ministry channel and subscribe over there for our daily readings and devotionals and meditations. I do that. We just had one a little bit ago. You got to be a part of that. Get your heart right with God if you're not right. Get in the scriptures, start studying, praying, and then build yourself an underground bunker like this, so you can get all the way to the end and you can see the face of the Antichrist when he arrives. So you'll survive. That sounds crazy. I'm just messing with you on that. But anyways, let's get into the news here. Sometimes I have a kind of a weird sense of humor, so just understand that not everything I say is, you can't take everything. Sometimes, just understand that I do joke a little bit. I have to, especially with what's going on here. It's too crazy of times we're in, Everything is crazy. So here's that one about Governor Hutchell and New York Governor Hutchell and Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker are daring Trump to arrest them. Not to mention, Gavin Newsom, gruesome Newsom, is also doing the same. Now, over here on our Telegram page, you definitely want to come over and check out our Telegram page, but I'm going to just kind of go through some of the info as we have been posting. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on with Iran. Let's go ahead and start from the top here. Let's just see where we're at here. Let's just see what the latest is here. Okay, we'll get into all that in a minute, but I'm going to go up to the alerts right now. So we were posting a lot of this. Is some of the footage of the crash of that 787 Boeing Dreamliner. I think they call it a Boeing Dreamliner. It's a very big jet, and this thing just crashed. I mean, I've got the video footage of it crashing. It's really sad to have to see that, but a lot of people probably perished on that. But anyways, here's part of the fuselage sticking out, but it's just really sad to see that. Okay, so here we go. Iran has stated that it has drawn up a plan to retaliate with hundreds of ballistic missiles in the event of an attack from Israel, the New York Times writes. Now, all of these reports are coming out right now about what Iran's going to do, what Israel's going to do, what the United States is going to do. All of this barrage of evacuations taking place at bases all throughout the Middle East, North Africa. U.S. is evacuating North Africa, Middle East, and Eastern Europe bases. That is what's happening right now. Why are we doing that? Because something huge is about to happen. In the next 48 to 72 hours, they're saying that this is coinciding with the actual event of Trump's parade, his military parade, that this is the deadline that has been given for the last talks to close. Israel has stated on Sunday, if you have not reached a deal, we are going to unilaterally. That means just by their own volition. They're not going to wait for the Americans. They're not going to. I'm sure they know the Americans will jump in, but maybe we won't. With Trump, you never know. Trump might just sit back and watch all these nations, gang rush and bum rush Israel and say, whoops, like that was your deal. This is not what we're going to be getting ourselves into. Who knows? But I have a feeling that there might be that ultimate betrayal, even though many had stated that this was a betrayal of Israel in many ways that has gotten us to this point. And I had told you a while ago, at least a year ago, a couple years ago, I said that Trump would betray his base. He would betray Israel. And this is what's always in the news now, is that Trump is truly betraying Israel. Is he going to do it all the way when they're attacking Iran and then there was a big backlash from the Muslim countries, or the whole world begins to, push a narrative about this? I don't know. Well, we're going to see here real soon, because Israel is about to hit Iran. Iran has stated that it has a surprise in store for the U.S. and Israel. Why did they include the U.S. in that surprise? What kind of surprise do they have? Is it a dirty nuke? They have hypersonics. They could have a hypersonic tipped dirty nuke, which would make its target and it would get past defenses. And that is why we're evacuating, because they know, the Americans know, that we are very vulnerable to their hypersonic missiles and whatever else is the payload. And if they do have those dirty nukes, then we're in big trouble. Iran has probably been secretly doing this in their deep, mountainous underground facilities that you cannot really touch. I don't think that their facilities are able to be reached, even with these bunker busters, or even if they dropped a nuke, on a mountain. I don't even know if a nuke would disturb a deep military base that's deep into a mountain. Like just this Cheyenne Mountain, for instance, here in the United States, or I think they call it Cheyenne Mountain or Iron Mountain. I forget what it was called, Cheyenne. But does anybody know in the chat? If you do, just pipe up and tell us, because I'm curious if a nuke dropped on a mountain, would it shake it enough to really disturb some kind of base that's in that mountain? I don't know. I think it's pretty much, secure against something like that, unless, of course, God shakes the whole planet. But here we go. Let's get into this. Activated United States Marines are now being activated in the next 24 hours. They're going to be on the streets. So this just posted yesterday, and they're saying now within 24 hours to 48 hours, these Marines, 700 of them, are going to be on U.S. city streets, along with, this is kind of like regular honeybees and Africanized honeybees. Which ones do you want on your streets? Do you want the regular honeybees they'll still sting you, but, it's kind of like militarized police and National Guard, as opposed to, the real military that has been trained to kill. Okay. These are real military Marines on the streets of America that will not bat an eye and will shoot you, and worse, whatever else they have to do. So this is like Africanized honeybees that'll sting you and all at once and kill you, or just regular honeybees that only sting you, a little bit here or there. Okay. But this is the way I look at it. Next 48 hours, according to statements by the U.S. Northern Command, it says about 700 Marines have finished pre-deployment workups. A workup to pre-deployment, the statement said, when called up for this mission, the battalion underwent additional training specific to this mission. This training included de-escalation, crowd control, and understanding the standing rules for the use of force. So it's SRUF, standing rules for the use of force. And it added, so they got to tell them, hey, you guys, I know you want to kill people, but just kind of tone it down. Tone it down. We're dealing with civilians here, guys. We're in America, so you got to tone that down. And this is what you got to follow, the standing rules for use of force. And then it said, in addition, to the training, the battalion is augmented with legal and law enforcement enterprise. So I'm not sure what that means. I guess they're protected by the law or something. Or no, they can arrest people. What, right? Arresting people. Okay, so then we go on. So something's going on right now with Google. So there's been a huge hack on Google products in the United States, I guess in the world. It's affecting Google right now. Outages are taking place on Cloudflare systems, and it's affecting a large number of services with intermittent failures. Now, understand this. Anytime there's going to be a war, there's always going to be these preliminary hacks on infrastructure, whether it's internet-based or many times these internet sites and things are all connected to hardware and critical infrastructure that is local. And so they'll attack through software and through internet, which basically disables the mechanisms and the hardware of that infrastructure that is critical. So this is happening right now, and I think it's still ongoing. Okay, now we have this. State Department issues security warning for the entire Middle East and North Africa. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff to senators, quote, if Iran retaliates, Israel's air defense will be overwhelmed and will eventually fail. That, I guess, is an indication that, hey, we need to be in there and helping them out. Is Donald Trump going to listen? Is he going to go along with it? Israel, I think, is emboldened, and they think that he will. But will he do a double cross? We're going to have to find out here in just a little bit, because when this hits the fan, we're probably going to see the true colors of Donald Trump and really what he truly is all about. But they're saying right now that Israel will be overwhelmed and they will eventually fall and fail. This is coming from U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff. He privately warned top senators or Republican senators that Iran's retaliation to an Israeli strike on its nuclear program could overwhelm Israel's defenses and cause mass damage and casualties. This is according to Axios. Multiple central hospitals now in Israel have been asked to stock up and prepare for emergencies. U.S. Embassy in Israel has issued a warning to its employees: do not travel outside of Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, or Beersheba until further notice. This is according to U.S. Embassy in Israel. Here's all the outage maps of everything that's going down: Cloudflare, Spotify, Discord, Google Meet, Character AI, AWS, which is Amazon, and a bunch of other things. Pokemon went down too. What the heck? Not Pokemon. Etsy, and Google Drive, Twitch. Twitch had some issues. So you can see the spike in issues right there. Down Detector is the place you can find all that. Reports on widespread outages. Okay, breaking. Iran stopped complying with its nuclear obligations to the UN. Sky News. The UN Nuclear Watchdog's Board of Governors has found that Iran is not complying with its nuclear obligations for the first time in 20 years. Why? Because they're being pushed into a corner. Probably. Breaking. U.S. intelligence has concluded that Israel will move ahead to strike Iranian nuclear facilities in the coming days. This is according to Reuters. If Israel attacks Iran in the coming days, the U.S. position will likely be limited to offering support such as aerial refueling and intelligence. Is that it? Oh boy, that's according to ABC News. Israel, you're on your own, but we can help you out by just giving you a little bit of fuel if you need it. We'll give you a little logistics there. Hopefully, you'll make it. New, the IDF chief of staff told Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that an Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear facilities would not succeed without direct U.S. participation. So what happens if Trump decides not to do it? Does that mean Israel's going to fall? Does that mean Israel's going to be overwhelmed? Does that mean Israel's secret nuclear program is also going to be ferreted out and destroyed? Because how deep are their military, facilities where they're developing these nuclear weapons? Or do they have them on the surface? I don't know. But it looks like things are getting hot for Israel. And we were listening to, I think Amir looked like, for those who know who Amir is, he looked a little bit worried because Israel is definitely preparing for a massive counterstrike from Iran. In fact, they're opening up all of their shelters, their bunkers. They're preparing for a massive response. Exclusive. U.S. fears Iran's response to Israel strike could be mass casualty event. Think about that. Exclusive. U.S. fears Iran's response to Israel strike would be mass casualty event. With Israel ready to strike Iran if diplomacy fails, Trump's envoy warned that Iran or Iranian retaliation could overwhelm Israeli defenses and target U.S. forces. Now, if we're pulling out of the Middle East and if we're pulling out everything out of North Africa and Eastern Europe, why are we pulling out of Eastern Europe? Is that because of what's going on with Russia? I mean, is Russia going to make a move too? Or maybe because Iran's missiles can reach all the way into Eastern Europe. I think that's the reason. If we're doing this, are we going to stand behind Israel when all is said and done? Or are we just going to kind of sit back and let that play out? Because Iran considers America the great Satan. They consider Israel the little Satan. That's what they call them in their big meetings. They say death to Satan, death to the big Satan, death to the little Satan. When they're all waving their fists up in their their house or their Congress, when all of their lawmakers and military people come together and they're sitting there listening to their supreme leader and they start chanting death to America, death to Israel. They start chanting that it's the big Satan as well, the little Satan. They call us the big Satan. So do you think that they're not going to do something to the United States as well? Yes, they are. And do you think that they've sent people in our porous borders in the last few years and set up operations within the United States? Probably. They probably have. Yeah, in probably many of the major cities to cause as much havoc and up unrest as possible. And this is why Trump is now saying this, and I think this is why he's rolling out military, at least getting the foot in the door, so that military can now be rolled out in a moment because they've already gotten through that posse comitatus or whatever they call it, cumulatata, and now they can they can just roll out the military when they need to. So when everything does hit the fan, they've already gotten past the hurdle of that posse comitatus act, right? Is that the way you say it? And this article is Axios. All right. The IRGC, which is the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, General Salami says, quote, the enemy couldn't handle Yemen. What makes it think it can defeat Iran? Joint Maritime Information Center. This is the JMIC advisory note, June 12th. And it's basically saying, based on open source media, Israeli authorities forwarded an ultimatum to both Iran and the United States. So Israel is sending an ultimatum to the United States. Is that amazing? They're sending an ultimatum to both Iran and the United States, stating that a nuclear agreement must be reached by Sunday between the two countries. If not, Israeli leadership has an intent to initiate military action against Iran. They're like chomping at the bit. They've been just salivating about this attack for I don't know how long. And now it's just right. They can't wait. They cannot wait. So is this also what Trump wants? Does he secretly really want this? I mean, this Riviera in the Mediterranean, this whole thing about him, hanging out on the beach, sipping pina coladas with Netanyahu while all of his, dancing, belly dancing, bearded women are sitting around the golden idols and the money flying into the air. Is that going to really happen? I mean, is he really buddies with Netanyahu, or does he really hate Netanyahu? Because from what I understand, he doesn't like Netanyahu. And I told you that he had an axe to grind against Netanyahu and eventually would turn on him. And this all because of what happened after the first election. Netanyahu was one of the first world leaders to confirm that Biden was the winner, and Trump lost his mind, according to people inside the White House. And Trump is a man of vengeance, and if you've never read his books, he waits for the perfect moment to get back at his enemies. And he's very patient. And if he considers this one of the biggest slights that he's endured in a long time, he's going to wait, and he's going to do it. He's going to get him back. Now, he probably already has in a certain way, but who knows if he's going to do something more. I don't know. Biblically speaking, if Trump is who I think he might be, then he's going to betray Israel, even in spite of Netanyahu. So roughly you have 72 to 96 hours to work out a deal, or all hell is going to break loose in the Middle East. I think this is the Bilderberg Group meeting here. Topics for discussion this year are transatlantic relationships, Ukraine, the U.S. economy, Europe, Middle East, authoritarian axis. Are they talking about the U.S.? Because that's what it looks like. Defense, innovation, and resilience, AI deterrence. Oh, AI deterrence and national security. AI weaponries. I'm sure they're going to be talking about Palantir, because that's exactly what Palantir is. Proliferation, geopolitics and energy and critical minerals, and depopulation and migration. I wonder if migration equals depopulation. I wonder if they're synonymous, if there's some relationship there. When they allow migration, it automatically opens the door for depopulation, because who knows what's going to come, especially now in this heightened tension, scenario here. They say, the Deagle report did say that Europe was going to lose all of its, a mass amount of population percentage-wise, and all of the West, right, including the United States. But places like China and Russia, they wouldn't. They would actually increase their populations. So migration has happened all across Europe and in the United States. We got the official press brief right there if you want to see it. U.S. immigration raid of Omaha meat plant cuts staff, fuels food production worries. This is happening all across the country. They're raiding these places that have migrants or undocumented or Their documentation has ran out. They're still working, but they're going after the lower fruit, so to speak, on the tree, and they're scaring away all of our workers, whether it's citrus, fruit pickers or anything that does to do with agriculture has lots of migrant workers. I used to live in Central California, so I know the whole San Joaquin Valley is populated by people from Mexico that do a lot of that work. Americans really don't do that kind of work, I guess. Either they're too lazy or they just don't think it pays enough. But Mexicans are very happy to make that money and send it back to Mexico because it's very valuable, according to the dollar's, exchange rate there. They're making actually a lot of money by doing that. And so now that you don't have, and a lot of these workers are afraid to even go to work, companies like Omaha Meat and other places that get your vegetables and fruits and everything else are now going to disappear. This is as we were telling, was going to be a stealth famine that's going to come upon America as well. Not to mention the food supply, not to mention the supply chain being choked, and oil, when all this stuff breaks out in the Middle East, being shut off. Now you've got this concurrent, and it's going to hit so hard, and you better be prepared. You better have your ducks in an order. You better know how to hunt and fish and or have a storehouse. A little extra food would be good, a little extra power, having the ability to create a little energy and be away from population centers, okay? Just a little public service announcement. Thank you for your attention to this matter, as Trump would say. I don't know why he says that. Every time he says something that he thinks it's almost like he thinks he's really smart. I am so smart. This is such an amazing thing. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I'm like, okay, great. You said something, you think it's going to help or whatever. It just sounds like a big boast to me. Anytime that Trump speaks, it just sounds like he's just boasting. That's all I get. I mean, I mean, you guys can say, hey, we can overlook that because he's going to make the country great again. I don't know. I'm just telling you, you're going to keep thinking like that when it doesn't happen? What happens if it starts pinching you in the pocketbook even more than it already has? And it is, but there's a little bit of pain. You gotta endure this little bit of pain. It's just a part of the process. It's like somebody was telling me that this is a part of the process. He's just going to shake everything up so that he can redo it the right way, right? Got to shake it all up, shake it up. And that's true. Maybe he does, but maybe he's not. Maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe it's already too far gone anyway. Maybe this is a fast tracking us to the ultimate, destiny of America anyway. Like I said, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just telling you, you better be ready for what's coming. U.S. raids target California farm workers, spreading fear among the people that are I don't know, I can't read that. But it goes on to say, ICE raids being conducted at farms. Who will pick your food? No one. Food crisis incoming in 3, 2, 1. We've warned. The door is almost closing. Now is the last chance to stock up on essentials. Get enough food and water and supply your family at least for a couple months should the supply lines get disrupted. New York Times article right here. ICE expands immigration raids into California's agricultural heartland. Alarms spread through California agricultural centers Tuesday as panicked workers reported that federal immigration authorities, and I remember back in the 80s when they used to have those patrols, the Mexicans, because I used to live, like I said, I lived in Central California. They'd say, "Oh, here comes the Border Patrol, Border Patrol, Border Patrol!" Everybody starts running because the Border Patrol's coming. People that were in construction or doing something in the fields, they would have to run because the Border Patrol was coming. But nowadays, they're militarizing everything, so they're going to definitely come, to kettle them all in and get as many as they can. So this is spreading fear through the agricultural centers And it says it says panicked workers reported that the federal immigration authorities, who had largely refrained from major enforcement action in the farming communities in the first months of the Trump administration, were showing up at farm fields and packing houses from the Central Coast to the San Joaquin Valley. Maybe, yeah, that's interesting. Now perfectly timed. Perfectly timed. Today we are seeing an uptick in the chaos presence of immigration enforcement, particularly in the Border Patrol, said Elizabeth Starter. The vice president, this is all for the purpose of exacerbating and causing mass chaos, because you know that the Mexicans are going to come out in mass to protest, at least the legal ones, and probably the illegal ones too, because they know that this is the last-ditch effort, that there's safety in numbers. And they're going to come out as if their life depended on it, because it does. Their life does depend on it. And not to mention that, but you've got the transgender community, you've got the racial tensions going on, the whole thing going on here. You've got the left-wing crazies out there, the Antifas, the Black Lives Matter, the communist movement. They're saying it's all communist driven too, by the way. These great amounts of organized protests that are happening in every city in America. Have you seen the map for the 14th? It's literally probably I think they said 1,500 cities plus that are on the map. And even in the red states, they're full. Like in the red states, there's cities like, for instance, that will say if they're totally Trump areas, well, they're private, so they don't have any repercussions. They have to put it on private, so they know where that meeting is. They have to vet people that are coming, I guess, until the moment when the meeting actually happens, because they're afraid of people that are. See, this is the polarization. Now you're starting to see the polarization where you're going to have left and right fighting each other on the streets too. So you're going to have political fights going on, just like back. It's going to be much worse though this time. You remember when you had the left and the right fighting on the streets, and they had to bring their guns and they were shooting each other? Well, the same things happen right now with riots. They're catching people that are shooting at police, throwing rocks at police, Molotov cocktails at police. I mean, it's going down. It is going down. Did you hear this? The sheriff. Listen to the tenor. Listen to the tension in this sheriff's voice out of Florida. Just listen to what he says. I want you to pay close attention to what he says, because the right is cheering this on, and you got the left that is scared to death, and they're in their own crazy way of thinking. They're looking at this as the end, and maybe they're right in some way. Maybe this is. But just listen to the voice of what this man is saying. Listen carefully to what this man is saying about anti-rights. Now, a lot of people are going to say, "Yeah, this is great. Yeah, they're doing the right thing. Let's just kill them. Let's just do as much harm and damage as we can, because we need to protect." And I understand. I understand this too. If you're being threatened, you have every right to protect yourself. You have every right to defend yourself. I understand that. But what I'm trying to tell everybody is that this, and by showing this, is that we are at a inflection point. We are at a moment when all of this is like critical mass. It is just going to explode, both left and right. Like I said, I am not a partisan either on the left or the right, so please don't put me in any kind of political place of advocating for either side. I am a political atheist, okay, if you will. I am not in any camp. I am not Republican, and I am not a Democrat, okay? And I'm just observing what's happening and trying to point people to the real kingdom, which is, a citizen of heaven, okay? If you want to be political, then get spiritual, okay? But here, listen to what he had to say.
Harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
Okay, wait, I didn't get the whole thing there. Sorry. Okay, I'm starting back at the beginning. Here we go.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
Okay. So you see what's happening there. You understand what I'm saying here, guys. This is the tenor. This is the intense response that is based on the fears that are legitimate, because there is unrest. There is threats everywhere. And America has been living in a state of decline for quite some time, civilly, socially, and economically. This is also economics affecting, because see, everything is coming to a head right now. So there's going to be this, well, plausible deniability. Well, we just a big war started in the Middle East, and this has caused a big ripple effect on our economy, and has affected our oil, and not being able. This is why oil prices or gas prices are $10, $15 if you can even find gas. This is why there's a civil unrest in the streets, and why everybody's upset, and this is why we got to bring martial law down. We got to clamp down everywhere we go. We got to do this. This is for your safety. We have to bring in AI. Surveillance has to be everywhere. You have to get your digital ID. You got to give submit your DNA, because this is the only way we're going to be able to keep you safe now, because this is such a scary, terrible, war-torn time. And we just, everything is on, the nukes have gone off over here, and a nuke went off in Israel. And, are you scared yet? Are you scared? Are you going to give us everything that we want? Are you going to submit everything and do what we tell you? Because we got soldiers here to enforce it if you don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Does that kind of make sense? Does that scenario sound about right? I mean, are you guys tracking with me? I'm going to do a Jamie Wallen. Are you tracking with me? Are you guys tracking? OpenAI Sam Altman thinks that we may have already passed the point at which AI surpasses human intelligence. We already knew that. Singularity is what it's been called. OpenAI chief Sam Altman, the point of singularity, where artificial intelligence has surpassed the intelligence of humans and effectively no longer under the control of people, may have already passed. Well, that's what Elon said. We are past the event horizon, Altman said. The takeoff has started. And this is what I've been talking about in the last week or so, about how we've crossed over the event horizon. We're falling into the deep, dark, black, hole of singularity, becoming one with the demon. As Elon called it, he called it a demon. And a literal demon. He didn't say it was a fake demon, a metaphoric demon. He said it was a demon. And the only way we could survive as a species was by becoming one with it and implanting its digital DNA in our brain. or nanotechnologies in our blood through our veins and arteries. How do you get it into your brain, Elon? Do we have to do an invasive surgery? This sounds really amazing. And Elon's like, no, 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 no. This may sound a little macabre, but we're not actually have to cut your brain open and stick it in there. We could just insert it through your veins and arteries. It kind of goes through your blood, like stick it into your jugular vein, and it'll just go right into your brain and self-assemble right there in your cerebral cortex. And there you come. Now you're a part of the Internet of Bodies, and you got the AI hardware there, so we can hook you up through satellite, through Neuralink, and through whatever they call that, Space Link, whatever. I forget what they call his internet-based satellite system. And they're just beaming down these rays anywhere on the planet. They can now track and trace you as long as you got that technology and you're flowing through your veins and arteries. I always like the idea of, or I always like that statement of Boris Johnson, where he's like, we got an armada like a Star Wars, flowing, swimming through your veins and arteries, just shooting anything that would harm you. This is where the whole idea where Trump's trying to take credit for the vaccine, because this technology is going to heal you. It's going to take away the aging gene. You're going to live forever. You're not going to have cancer anymore. Let's just see if I can find the Boris Johnson quote. This is so crazy. I always call him Bedhead because he looks like he just rolled out of bed. Most of the time he looks like he just rolled out of bed. You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever seen this guy, but his hair is always a mess. Kind of like mine, but not as bad. Mine is not as bad. This is Boris Johnson. Listen to this dude talking about nanotechnologies and how it's such a good thing going through your veins and arteries.
I'm profoundly optimistic about the ability of new technology to serve as a liberator and to remake the world wondrously and benignly. Indeed, in countless respects, technology is already doing just that. Nanotechnology, I mentioned earlier, revolutionizing medicine by designing robots a fraction of the size of a red blood cell, capable of swimming through our bodies, dispensing medicine and attacking malignant cells like some Star Wars armada. Neural interface technology.
Attacking a disease like an armada of Star Wars paratroopers. There's a cancer cell. Shoot it. There, get rid of that aging gene. He'll live forever. Yes, we're gonna live forever. We will never die. We have become like God. This is the mark of the beast. So people don't understand that this technology is mark of the beast technology. Right? This is mark of the beast technology. If you haven't figured that one out yet, you need to wake up. Anyways, I just want to say hello to everybody in here because I'm just sitting here going on and on here. His hair reflects his brain. What's going on? Alan, I see Mark Hill in the house, Molly Urban, Nick, Sherry 7, Reggie. I see Bill in the house, and Tina Richardson, Wings, beloved one, the Richardsons. Good to see all you out there. Pamela Johnson. And let's see, who else? We got a few people out here. Brass Monkey. Okay, so guys, the bystander, what's happening? Belinda, good to see you. Get ready, because I'm about to give away a $500 bug out bag filled with all kinds of goodies that are going to help you survive if ever you have to be on the move. Going from, let's just say, before the lockdowns come, escape from LA, escape from New York, one of the two. You're going to be running or trying to run. You got your backpack filled with all the stuff that you need, and you're going to be able to cook your food. You got a little it'll get you to where you got to go, right? Maybe you want to go out to your crazy conspiratorial uncle that lives out in Montana somewhere, and he knows how to hunt and fish and grow food, but he's a little kooky. But hey, at least you got a little place, safe haven that you can get to. In the process of getting there, you're going to need a little extra things, right? So you might want to have that. What's going on, Pablo? Hey Jude, Carmen is saved. Mr. and Mrs. Constitution, full clip. Lep, good to see all you out there. Cindy Paul. So if you're one of our members, and you can sign up to be a member, monthly member, and it really helps keep our channel on the air, because we're trying to, give something back here as well. Well, we give back with everything that we do, but we want to give something tangible and make sure that you're all prepared in every way, because this is what our message has been. That's why we have the prepping store, and now that prices are going up, things are changing because of all the tariff stuff, but who knows where everything's going to be in the next few weeks. I'm just going to tell you guys, as soon as this war starts in the Middle East, things are going to change overnight. Your prices at your gas pump are going to exponentially increase by dollars, not by cents, but by dollars. But hey, egg prices went down, so praise the Lord. They did cull another, 2 million chickens recently, so I don't know if that's going to have any effect on things, but who knows. In the meantime, Sid, you're still a mod, man. What the heck? Hey, Sid shouldn't be mod. You're good, Mr. Sid. No problem, man. Oh, Frodo Baggins, what's happening? Let's see. What else? Is there anything else I got to look at here? Let me check and see. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go stream the chaos too that's going on in the cities right now. And I'll kind of check and see what's happening. If there's any other information I need to look at here. Okay, confirmation. AI is running things now. AI governance is here to stay. The beast system is in full swing. This is marketwatch.com, and if you go to our Telegram page and subscribe over there, it's the only Telegram page with over 20,000 subscribers. Don't subscribe to any other page that says Blazing Press that has anything less, because if you see a page that has 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, that's not us. We've only got one Telegram page, and it's got 20+ thousand. Subscribe to us over there, and make sure you're connected to us on all of our other social media. In the meantime, guys, I will be back with more commentary and coverage of the riots that are now spreading over the whole country, not to mention the wars that are going to be popping off here any minute. I'll be selling tickets to my deep underground military bunker. They're like golden tickets, actually. I'm going to be putting them in little golden tickets like Willy Wonka. If you get the right one, you get invited into this safe haven that's going to be, when everything else is destroyed, we'll be here in our little bunker, looking at the monitors on the things that are going on up in the surface. Who wants to come in with? They always say that these will be people's graves. Anybody that's in a big deep hole is going to be having their own grave. I'm on my way to there ain't no grave gonna hold me down. I'm on my way. And you know that song, Ain't No Grave Gonna Hold Me Down? My feet are gonna lift up off the ground. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. So I'm planning on being with Jesus. So you guys, I hope you're also planning the same. So get your hearts right. Be prepped in every way within, and then the outward preps will follow. But make sure that you're secure in your relationship with God first and foremost, with the Most High himself. He is the one that oversees all the affairs of both man and in the spirit realm, whatever rogue spirits are out there that are masquerading as aliens that are trying to manipulate human population and consciousness. God is above all that. His technology is way above AI, and he does heal still, and his wonders are true. They're not lying. His signs and wonders are the real thing, the real deal. The devil, it's all lies. Don't listen. And don't be deceived, and don't be led astray. In Jesus' name, we'll talk to you.